I'm very serious in my work, so I give a lot.
Elisa Nalin is one of those people whom you certainly know because of her impeccable taste, which is captured by eager street style photographers. Apart from her successful street style career, Elisa is a professional stylist. She started her way in Costume National, where she worked in a designer's team, and then she switched to Samsonite house on the position of a head designer. One day Elisa has bravely decided to change her life and moved to Paris. And now she is acting as a stylist, a consultant for many different brands, and has one of those wardrobes which you can never dream about.
I was traveling a lot at the time to find inspiration, which I couldn't find in Milan. So I was always in between London, Paris. And I was in Paris one day, it was July, it was the haute couture. It was sunny, the city was just so beautiful that I thought, it's not bad here. I think I could see myself living in here. I'm a pretty brave person, meaning that I'm not scared of the new things in life, of new adventures. So I didn't speak French at the time. I went 1 week in Paris with my father, who speaks very well French. And in 1 week we found an apartment and I found a job as a styling assistant. I was assisting Hector Castro. Yeah.
Do you remember the first fashion show you have ever attended?
Wow, what a question. I never thought so. It was a long time ago. It was when I was in Milan and I was a student. I was a fashion student, and for me it was like the best thing could happen in your life, you know, is how to get in a fashion show, because obviously you're not invited. So I remember that at the time we were so like, the passion that you had, that you so wanted to be in and you wanted to see how does it look like, that we were actually faking the invitation. And I remember once it was Versace and we arrived at the door and we were almost in, and then the lady, she looked at the invite and she was like, she looked again, she did like this, and she did.
Really? So you realized it was a fake?
Yeah, she did, and she started laughing. She was like, you know what, you're such a clever person that you can go in.
Really?
She let us in and it was fantastic. You know?
What is the difference between working as a stylist and as a consultant?
Yeah, they're connected, but you know, there's different sides of being a stylist. So you have, of course, the editorial part, which is fun to shoot editorials for magazines. And then there's the consulting part, which means helping designers in putting up the collection and giving them advices, your opinion or ideas, or even, it depends on who you work, of course, and in what kind of consulting they're looking for. So what I like to do, what I'm doing the most when I work as a consultant, is I really start from the beginning of the collection. Like,
So how do you usually research to prepare for the fashion store? Because it basically starts with the research.
oh yeah, that's the biggest part of the job, I would say. Well, it depends on what are you gonna do, what is the story you're planning for, what's the idea, and then you start going through all the designers and search for the right piece that's gonna suit your story. And that's already taking a lot of time. And then you have to fight to get what you want, you know. It's this huge fight, because normally we all shoot at the same time. There are certain times of the year which is like, you want to die, because literally every single magazine is shooting. And mostly we all want the same piece.
Of course, definitely.
So you have to fight through what I call the first offices, the Italian, the English, the American, and then you call your friends like, so who's having the piece? Let me talk to the stylist.
Really?
Once everything comes in, then it's the most fun part. Then you play with the clothes and you have fun. And then I start mixing up. I choose one item and then I work the look around it. But it's very mental. I mean, it's something very irrational. It just
comes?
It just comes. I have a friend of mine who's always making fun of me, because one day we were supposed to go to a show together. He was waiting for me in a cafe. And I was late, and he kept calling me like, what are you doing? And I was like, wait, I'm waiting for the look to come to me.
What are the best places for vintage shopping?
But you know, my favorite things to do is, and where you find the best pieces, and very cheap, it's to go to the Vide Grenier. Grenier, it's like a local flea market that in Paris you have them every weekend and in different areas of Paris. And there's a website you can go and you check what's on that day and you find amazing things.
What was your cheapest item you've ever bought?
I know. I bought a Chanel bag, my first Chanel bag. I bought it for €1. It was in Milan. It used to be an amazing flea market, but it doesn't exist anymore. It was called the Samsonite market. And literally you could find the most beautiful pieces like for so cheap. And that morning, it was a Sunday morning, there was 3 baskets, big like this, full of bags. And it's my favorite, you know, for myself in the thing, and I start looking for the treasure. And then I see the little blue bag, the matelassé from the 80s, even with the leather pompon on the sides. And then I start to look inside to check if it's a real one or if it's a fake, and it was a real one. And then I like very shine, like, how much is it? €1. Mine! I bought it straight away. I don't like it. I don't know if I can talk about that.
Why not? If you be diplomatic, I think you can.
Okay, I try to be diplomatic. What I don't like about fashion is I really don't like when people are taking themselves too serious. I really don't understand and don't like that, you know. What I really would like the people to understand is that a job, like any other job, you know, you can build houses, you can be a doctor, and you can work in fashion. It's a job, and we're human like all the rest of the human beings. So it's not because we work in fashion that we have to behave in certain ways, or people have to talk to us in a certain manner. You know, drives me crazy. This I can't stand. You know, there's a lot of big egos going on in this industry, and me. I'm like, no, I wish that everybody could be open to the rest of the world and be more humble and polite. I choose one piece from here and then I pair it with other things. I go around the house and start looking for what would be good. So I've been wearing this Marni coat. It's actually the first time I did a total look, and I put the Marni dress underneath. And I also love that Valentino dress because it was sunny and finally felt like spring, you know, the yellow and the pink. I was so happy I could wear something light for once. And even when you look at I mean, it's so beautiful. They're so good. Ave Maria Grazia, they're really doing an amazing job. But anytime I'm in London, I'm like start to be compulsive about shopping. I like the way they display things in shops. And it just, because in Paris, really, I don't shop that much. The part of vintage, no, I don't. And then there's always people coming to me and asking me, oh, where should we go shopping? I don't really know what to answer because I don't really do that.
How much do you spend on clothes?
I don't spend that much money, really, to be honest, because a lot is vintage. A lot I shop in the press sales, you know, because that's an interesting thing about our job, is that we have access to the press sales, which are my favorite thing to do. And so I really don't spend that much money. I have a really, like a big social conscience that is telling me you cannot buy that, it's too expensive.